The journey took some time. More importantly, the interesting captain that vesseled the ship. Giancarlo, what do you look like?
I am a roughly 6 foot tall, scrawny as a rail flamingo Aarakocra. I'm dressed in traditional pirate regalia, just long, torn up brocade coat, dented metal breastplate. Got a brace of pistols at my side with a boarding axe and a cutlass tucked into a belt. Uh, I'm wearing what appears to be a chef's toque, but can't really quite tell. It might be something else. I'm just leafing through a huge book.
The vessel is small, designed to carry people swiftly, a sloop of sorts. The only two passengers on your ship, although they're acquaintances as much as they are passengers, you've worked with them before, and this particular journey has taken you to an island called Gnomeworks. An island that has been through significant transition over the last few years. A place that became the very center of a very important battle that took place nearby and offered safe haven to two organizations that were kind of called out for their behavior: the Copper Takers and the Copper Makers, a guild that was utilizing the island for their own purposes. They had created a large arcane workshop deep below the surface of the island, and a kind of almost underground community of people that served and catered to the requirements of the gnome. Myconith, you and Karina, which name are you using tonight? Desmond?
Desmond.
Want me to change it for you since you're working on your character?
No, it's okay. I can do that.
You got it? Myconith, as you and Desmond are the only two passengers on the ship, and how do I pronounce it? Is it G-I or G-L? Glenn, right? Glenn Carlo.
Giancarlo.
Yeah,
G-I.
Giancarlo.
The eye looks like an L. My eyes are very bad today. My eyes are terrible today. As you look up at Giancarlo up on the helm of the sloop, and over towards Desmond, you carry a letter in your hand. You open the letter to read it again, just to make sure that what you're hearing or what you read was accurate. But as you're in the midst of reading that letter, what does Myconith look like?
It's not clear if it's if the mushrooms are still growing, but there's a little squat goblin with just mushrooms everywhere, grow like coming out of its skull, through its hair. One of his eyes is white. One of their eyes is white, and they've got like the shoulders. Yes, but is he a spore druid or is he a myconid in the body of a goblin?
Gotcha.
There's definitely some. They speak of themselves as multiple, as more than one, but it's unclear what that means, if it's just the myconid or if they're both there. But not a big fan of boats and saltwater, so they've kind of like spread kind of roots onto the deck a little bit to hold them still, so that they're not really swaying with the wave as much as they're swaying with the entire boat. Like rooted in place.
Yeah. As you read the letter, it is from an individual that you had met casually before in your travels, more through a connection with a bard that goes by the name of Earthen. But this person, this individual that goes by the name of Puck, took an opportunity to author a letter and send it to you, mostly because of your specialization of rare and material components that sometimes are needed for rather substantial opportunities of the arcane, and more importantly, sometimes within the natural magic world as well. The letter reads as follows: Dear Myconith, it was a pleasure to meet you. You are a unique individual, and people like me and you, who are unique individuals, I mean, I myself am practically godlike, but tangent, sorry. I need your help. I have a team that's been sent out to find an object of unusual power. This object will allow us to find a friend of ours. Unfortunately, my other friends, Earthen and Spot, are busy with other concerns. I'm reaching out to you because I know you specialize in this kind of material, special arcane componentry. There is a secret lab. Me and my friends have been there before, but we thought it might be destroyed. I recently received a letter from the contact of the person you're going to meet there. He is a wonderful little mouse folk that goes by the name Matron. You can't miss him. He'll be waiting for you on the docks. It would appear that he's discovered a map and he has found a secret route through the old collapsed tunnels of the Underdwell and will be able to show you this map, and hopefully you can use it to find the arcane lab. Once you find the lab, there is a material component I need you to find. It is a component called processed residual. I believe that not all of it was ever found during our time in the island of Gnomeworks. And my hope is that you can find it there. Once you find it, bring it to me here in Marquette, and I will introduce you to the rest of the team as we try to use the device and find our missing friend. Good luck. Try not to get too drunk, and see you soon. Signed, Puck the Wanderer. As you look away from the letter, and you watch as Giancarlo settles the sloop into the dock, you look over at Desmond. Desmond, what do you look like again?
He's dressed in the uniform of the like Jusar kind of guard soldiers.
Like a warden.
Yeah, like a warden.
Okay.
He used to work as a warden. Then he got fired. Now he's a thief. But he still pretends to be a warden. Other than that, he's very unassuming. Maybe a little kind of like easy to underestimate because he seems a little dumb.
Giancarlo, you've agreed to travel with Myconith and Desmond on this little adventure. You have a bit of a layover here in Gnomeworks. You've paid a local engineer to do some work on the sloop in the hopes of preparing it for the long journey that's going to be required to get over into Marquette. But the three of you disembark, take the gangway down onto the docks, and standing there, relatively close to where you guys arrive, is a mousefolk. He is dressed in simple leathers, beige kind of homespun material, a red cloak that drapes down his back. He's not very tall. He's maybe 2 feet tall at the max. He carries a gnarled staff in his left hand, and he has a very kind of local look about himself. Well, look who we got here. I see, Myconith, your description comes by quite nicely. My name's Matron. Giancarlo, stunning. Puck was right. You are quite the beauty. And I believe you're Desmond, right? The former soldier, braggart, turned thief and drunkard, yeah?
I prefer like the dashing individual that is currently courting Puck and is trying to prove himself.
Oh, yeah, I bet you'd really like that, wouldn't you? Well, anyways, follow me. I got a map to show you and a quick conversation. He begins to guide you through the busy docks of the Gnomeworks. Here you see the great platform elevator that will take you up the 300 feet up into the cliffs, the reefside cliffs. But down here in the main dock ward, the Underdwell, or the Dwell, is no longer cordoned off. A huge effort to open up the Dwell has occurred. The vibrant colors of the reef rocks and the old coral that made up the dwell are now fully exposed to the docks as well. The once hidden away gnomes that were seen to be a drag on the copper makers and copper takers are now part of society, out in the open. Here, the last remnants of Taldori's presence is beginning to fade, as well as Vasselheim's presence is beginning to fade. The great alliance that was brought together to allow Gnomeworks to recuperate many years ago is now seeing the end of its time. The last of the great ships sailing away, the sprocket can be seen out in the bay, and as the three of you ride the great elevator up towards the top of Gnomeworks, Matron, well, it's been an interesting couple years since my friends left me here. But you know what? I'm glad to have met them. I don't know if you've met Puck or the others, Thin Spot and God's rest his soul, Xanath, of course. But Puck asked me for a bit of a favor. I was out and about, and I found a friend of mine who was a map maker, and came across this old crumpled up map in his wares. It seemed to be a map of the old mines where the Gnomeworks used to keep themselves. And well, you can't really get it anymore, but the way that the copper takers and makers used to make their products, they used a special formula for residuum. It allowed for both a infusement of magic into devices, as well as enhancing the properties of devices, as well as being a material component for the device to consume in order for its magic ability to be able to work. Puck seems to think this is exactly what she needs for this item that she's got some friends looking for. Don't know much about that, but I've got a good idea on how maybe I can help you all find your way down into the old laboratories of the gnome takers and the copper takers and the copper makers.
Sounds
he steps
brilliant.
off the platform, and you guys kind of follow him into the streets of Gnomeworks. You were saying, Desmond?
Oh, he was just complimenting him.
Oh yeah. Oh, what? What did I do?
Oh no, it's just that's brilliant.
Oh well, thank you. I am brilliant. I know that. But anyways, I've got some friends of mine that I'm going to hand you off to, and they're going to take you deep into the swamp area and the access point into the old caves and laboratories. Hope you don't mind lizard folk. They're a bit on the rough edge, but they're great for traversing the jungles and the swamps. He guides you to the outskirts of the upper cliffs, and then down some newly structured, newly built bridges. But the one thing is this amazing statue that you can see, this 200-foot tall, carved into the stone of one of the spires. You can see this elven paladin kind of profile, kind of staring out over Gnomeworks property. He takes you across the rope bridges, down into the lower jungle trails, until at last you're out of the city and you're down in the edges of the depths of the jungle itself. And here, patiently waiting, are two lizard folk. They appear to be wearing the paints of scouts. They are dressed in very kind of traditional clan and tribal attire. They have a quick interaction with Matron, and Matron looks up at the three of you. Well, good luck. I'll hold down the fort for you till you get back. And when you find what you need, come see me. Get things all sorted out. I think I'm going to travel with you when you go to Marquette. Been wanting to see Puck and the others for some time. Got any questions for me before you jump off?
We are grateful for your service. And he reaches his hand out and sets spores, he wiggled his fingers like spores are falling into his hand.
Right. Good on you, mate.
I have maybe just like a small question.
Yeah, Desmond, what can I do for you?
Well, you know, our services are generally for for pay, but I'm doing a lot of this out of the kindness of my heart.
Oh,
Still,
crikey. No, you're going to get paid. Just find your way back to me once you've got the materials from the lab. I'll pay you for your time. And then I think Puck said that she's got payment for all of us once we get to Moquette.
okay. And are there any rumors of any, let's say, treasure out in the jungle? Something.
Oh, there's plenty of rumors. Once you get out there, if you're not eaten by the dinosaurs or killed by the giant mosquitoes,
sorry, what now?
or the dinosaurs in the jungle, of course.
Nobody mentioned dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, if we mentioned dinosaurs, you probably wouldn't have come. Anyways, well, good luck. Giancarlo, you seem to be the most apt for this. Here's the map that I promised Puck. The lizard folk will guide you to the entrance area. The map is through the warrens and tunnels down below to get into the arcane laboratory. Well, cheerio, good luck. And
What?
he kind of just takes his staff and he starts...
Can you direct me to an artifact of no mean skill? I have a request that I wish to put before him.
And I'm sorry to anyone that watches this in this francophone, but this is going the entire fucking time.
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand what you're saying. What do you need?
An artifact, I have an item that I would like to use on my sloop. It is beyond my skills. I am a humble chef with some experience on the water, but I've come across an item that I believe will be useful to me. I do not know how to band it to Le Bec Rouge too, but I was hoping maybe you could put me in the right direction.
Oh man, are you Scottish? I've always wanted to go to Scotland.
What is Scotland? What is this Scot? What are the Scotch? I understand this not.
Matron just
Sure.
kind of looks at Desmond and then over at Giancarlo. Well, look, I'm sure I can find you an artificer when you get back, and we can take care of your needs. Is this something you need for the trip now, or can it wait till you get
It is
back?
something I like to have in my in my back pocket.
I did just send you a PM in Discord about what I'm trying to do. But yeah.
Okay.
It is something I would like to have in my back pocket. It is I would like to. I agree to this because it is bringing me where I think I need to go for another thing. The money is immaterial to me, but I would like to have these things. Yes.
Okay, can you pause? Am I armed?
Gotcha. So you want Matron to find someone who can bind that to the sloop.
Yes.
Well, if you want to leave that spell book with me now, I can. I know. You know what? I do know a pretty powerful wizard that can help with this. Her name's Sibo. Let me go track her down and see if she can help out with this. We'll have it ready for
I
you when you
appreciate
get back.
I appreciate this greatly, my friend. Though I will tell you, if anything happens to that book or my beauty, the Le Bec Rouge 2, I will hunt you down through the cosmos and spill your blood across the stars. I mean, I will not cook any of my delectable meals. Right. You gave up that night. You gave up that night. You're doing this fun time.
Right. I'm going to take that as from your people. Culturally, you just said thank you for your help and see you in a little while after I get back. G'day. And he kind of, with his staff, just kind of wobbles off back in the direction of Gnomeworks. The 2-day journey through the jungle is a slog. But with the scouts' help, they allow you to avoid a sauropod that almost crushed you. A T-Rex. The pursuit lasted for a little while, but it was best to avoid it, especially since Desmond insisted on bathing in the local river, which the T-Rex then surprised poor Desmond. And the image of a naked Desmond running through the encampment, convincing everybody that death itself was on his heels. This 2-day journey brings you to the entrance of an old, now inactive volcano. And here at the base of the volcano, you can see collapsed mines and shafts that make up the entry point. Once here, you begin to match the map to the beginnings of these mines. Giancarlo, give me a survivor or nature check, if you'd like, please.
Survival or nature, which one is slightly better?
I am proficient. I can help you with survival. I am very good at
I have
that.
I have a
my
plus 2 to survival. So. Actually, I'll take it. That's a 17.
All right. You can get the help action from Myconith if you want to see if you can beat it.
Sure. What would...
You just roll again.
You just roll with advantage. So you'd roll again, take the higher of the two rolls.
It's a 16. So
Okay. As you spend some time looking at the map, you realize that the tunnel on the left probably offers up the best opportunity. As the three of you say goodbye to the scouts, as they will linger out here waiting for your return, you begin to descend down into the beginnings of these mine shafts. There is a kind of persistent smell of sulfur. The walls of the mine shafts are coated heavily in kind of an old dusty soot. And you follow this mine shaft until you reach what looks to be some kind of hub within the map. For the most part, all you can tell is that this shaft has been abandoned for quite some time. Old material, old tools, ropes, pickaxes, shovels, buckets tossed about. And as you get to the end of this mine shaft, you arrive at a bucket and pulley system. It looks to be like one of those crane systems that lowers miners down into the next level. It looks surprisingly functional and intact. It looks like it can hold up to 3 people at once. The fulcrum system is a mere kind of pulling of a rope, allowing the counterweight to release, and then the bucket would descend you down into the interior of this open pit. According to the map, that should bring you down into the old beginning warrens of the edge of a underground fortress-like city that the copper takers and the copper makers kept down here. But just looking into the darkness, looking down, looking at the chain and rope system, it looks like it might be a solid 200, 300, maybe even 400 foot ride down into the darkness. What would you guys like to do next?
Would anyone like to volunteer? If all of us if the other 2 of you are, cowards, I can fly down on my own initiative and see if there's anything down there.
Sure.
A moment. And I would like to do it ritually, but I'll cast forgot the name of it now, sorry. Commune with nature.
Okay.
And it's to get, so it says like I can locate settlements, and I'm wondering if I can parlay that into collections of where people were at one point. But it's locations of settlements, portals, challenge rating 10 plus creature of your choice that's celestial, elemental, fiend, or undead, the most prevalent kind of plant, mineral, or beast, or locations of bodies of water.
Ooh. As you ritually cast this spell, you begin to realize that the roots of this place are still very much active. The sense of heat, the sense of lava flows are very much down deep in the roots of this mountain. There's clearly been some recent volcanic activity because you get the sense that there's been a shift in how the tunnels connect.
Baby, get that.
Collapses of rock and rock slides. There's an entire community that used to live down below, now abandoned. No sense of humanoid, goblinoid activity, but there are kind of connections with other natural creatures that might still be down there.
So you've just seen like he sits there with his arms out and his just spores come off of him and float down out through all the directions. Does it give me an idea of which direction we need to go, or which would be the?
Yeah, it feels like taking the elevator down into the pit is proper, and then you kind of want to follow because the map gets you down into the pit. That's as far as the map goes. Once you're down in the pit, it's kind of up to your own improvised approach at that point.
Okay.
But the spell effect tells you to head in a northeasterly direction in hopes of finding the much more densely community area of the old location.
Okay. I think we have a direction once we're there. But yes, we should go down.
Well,
Like I step out onto the platform.
I'm pretty proficient climber, and Giancarlo is a flyer. I'm sure we can kind of take out a bunch of ropes, figure out a safe way for everyone to get down, and have an easy exit if we need one. But I do vote that Giancarlo goes first because he's so graciously volunteered, and I would hate to ruin his confidence.
That's fair.
I appreciate
Very
the vote of confidence here. That is, I will do this for you. You, what is your species? You are an humanoid? Whatever. Just take off and just glide down.
Okay, do you take my end of the rope?
Oh, you mentioned something about a rope. That is, you know what? Fine. Just grab the rope and glide down.
Merci beaucoup.
All right, so yeah, I'll grab the rope from Desmond and start gliding down.
As you start gliding down with the rope, give me a perception check, if you would, please, Giancarlo, on your way down.
Okay. Perception. Let's see what my perception is real fast. Okay, +2. Hi. 16.
16.
Get down.
This rope is definitely not going to be long enough. This pit goes down about 500 feet. While you could easily make it all the way down on your own because of your ability to control your flight, if they can't fly or don't have a spell or a method of flying, it would appear that the only way down into this pit would be through the bucket crane up above. But as you land at the bottom of this mining pit, based on what Mike had told you, you look towards the north, like the northeast direction of the underground mine pit. You could see the tattered remains of crates, boxes, and barrels, and they all seem to be earmarked for a place called Thane's Reach. And you get the feeling this might have been the old community that used to be down here. And it looks like this particular mine shaft is mostly, like the tunnel itself is not suffering from as much damage. It looks like it continues on in the darkness, and this appears to be the right direction to go in. The problem is getting everybody down here.
So I'll fly back up and just kind of be like,
You silly ghost! That pit is clearly at least 150, 200 meters. You give me 500 feet of rope? This is nothing. Why would you?
I'm so sorry.
You sure?
How large is my Kenneth?
I'm small.
Small, do you want Giancarlo or I to carry you down?
We have the bucket. Why would we do that?
I don't trust that bucket.
As you wish.
Okay, little buddy, takes a bunch of earth, puts it on his backpack. Is that okay?
Why?
I don't know. I don't really know much about plants.
We thrive in the tunnels. We like it down here.
Oh, that was good.
Giancarlo! Giancarlo! Don't leave me alone with him!
Can you see in the dark? I can see in the dark. We can see in the dark. We like the dark.
I'm gonna climb
You
faster.
are
Okay.
you are a bit of an odd duck, as we say among my people. Are you not you say Macamade? Would this be an insulting thing to address you by?
We have spoken to many ducks and possessed a few. We don't feel
You're not
like
helping
being
this.
a duck.
These are not that is not a comforting response. I will be honest.
Is Giancarlo next to us?
Yeah, you're all three at the top, just trying to figure out the best way down. Yeah.
I'm gonna hand my Kenius to Giancarlo.
I'm not going to lie. I may be swearing off of the trophies in some of my dishes for a while. This is somewhat disconcerting. But all right. Let us all open the bucket. Let's see if this system is still functional, shall we? We just kind of kick the lever to see if it releases.
You kick the lever. You hear a pin, like a metal flange, kind of coming apart. You watch as the fulcrum level releases, and a heavy stone begins to drop in a hole down the other side behind the crane. And as that drops, the bucket begins to lower as the counterweighted fulcrum is now operating, and the bucket is beginning to lower down, making a lot of noise. Though it's like making that metal on metal kind of grinding noise as it begins to lower. After about 5 minutes of it lowering, it comes to a stop. You watch as Giancarlo goes over, pulls the other lever. The other fulcrum shifts. And after a few minutes, the bucket comes back up to the top. Appears to work.
Let's go.
You watch as the creepy Myconith crawls into the bucket. And
Yeah,
when
let's
when
go.
he lands in the bucket, there's a poof of spores that comes out.
Yeah.
Desmond hides
This is,
behind Giancarlo at this point.
I dug this out of a chest that I swore I would never open again. Now I must fumigate before I put it out. This is how was this? All right. I guess
Like past gust barrier, which just kind of like spits all the dust and spores away real quick. It's just like a flat. It's cantrip, but it's like a flash of air, just and the dust kind of settles away. Shall we go down?
Don't say it like that, man.
Desmond, like,
you worry me in ways which are. I am.
We are sure there are no tyrannosaur down here.
You make a good point.
That was oddly specific. That was very very specific.
If there were,
I will trust you on
we
this.
would have sensed it. We would know.
Can I try to do anything to make the bucket make less noise?
Yeah, what would you like to try to do?
I guess fast hands, so you can take a bonus action to do any kind of like thieves' tool, disarm trap, or open lock. Kind of, just sleight of hand stuff. If I have any kind of like oil or something. I don't
So you pull out. Actually, you carry a big container of pig fat in your backpack.
Cooking.
And before you crawl into the bucket, you go over to where the gear work is, where the metal grind wheel is that lowers and allows the chain to come up and down. And you just empty the whole thing of pig fat onto the gear, the chain. You kind of make it like, get as much as you can on the chain spool that's wound up behind it. And then, you kind of leave the empty container, crawl back into the bucket. Giancarlo then pulls the lever. As you and Mykonith begin to lower in the bucket, it is surprisingly quieter this time, as the fat and lard of the substance is now in the chain and in the gear work, preventing the loud kind of grinding of metal on metal sound of lowering the bucket. And then, of course, you can see the pink silhouette of Giancarlo beginning to circle down alongside you guys as well.
Do you have a torch? Or can you see in the dark? It's quite dark here. I can see. It's okay.
That was disconcerting, Monsieur Mykonith. I would like to touch just to be safe.
If you pull it out, he with Druidcraft, I can light or snuff a torch, and he just these little glowing spores flare up around it.
Ooh, that's pretty. That's magical. We're on an adventure. We're so lucky to be here.
We know we are unusual.
Why does Desmond feel like a tourist? As the three of you stand at the bottom of this pit, you stare at an entryway tunnel that Giancarlo had pointed out previously. The old equipment spread everywhere. Seems to be the best tunnel option to pursue and follow into. Everyone give me either investigation or perception as you're examining the entrance of the tunnel.
That's perception all day. All right. That's 26 for perception for me.
That's a 7.
17 perception. I'm sorry, 18 perception. I thought it was +1. It's +2.
For you, Mykonith, this is wants to feel like they want it to feel like home, but the air is pretty dry. The humid air makes them feel a lot better about themselves, but there's an automatic sense of awareness, even a little sense of danger at this point. You get the feeling that there are things still down here. This is the old roots of an old mountain, a volcano that may not be active now, but the roots of it could very well be active. Thane's Reach is a place that is said that the copper takers and copper makers built to house all the people that did the research and manufacturing of their great works. It is said that a group of individuals had exposed the copper makers and copper takers for the frauds that they were, destroyed Thane's Reach, and freed all the gnomes and all the other citizens of Gnomeworks from the overbearing kind of indentured servitude that the copper makers and copper takers put on the people of the island. This feels like the right way. You begin to walk, and Giancarlo and Desmond begin to follow.
It is dry here, but there are things. We are not alone.
Maybe they're friendly?
We don't think so.
I'm gonna go walk next to Giancarlo again. That's okay.
I feel like Desmond's surname should be Craven.
We don't know his last name. Maybe it is Craven.
That's with a C, not a K.
Yeah.
As the three of you begin your journey down the long tunnel, it winds back and forth. Sometimes it doglegs a little bit left, it goes a little bit right, but it's getting hotter the deeper you go.
Do
The
we leave
dry, hot air is getting very noticeable. Go ahead, Desmond.
I was gonna ask if we're leaving any trail or any kind of half-secret trail for ourselves to follow back.
The sulfur ground and the sulfur gravel, you're clearly leaving footprints behind as you travel through the tunnels. You get the feeling that they will probably be there for your journey back.
If it would make you feel better, we could plant some of our spores.
I guess it would.
Like I could be just druid crafting
Mm-hmm.
like those glow in the dark mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like along the trail as we're going.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
nice.
They won't survive long down here. It's too dry.
Oh, cool.
There's like
Oh.
one creepy
No,
motherfucker.
it is hot. Hot and dry.
Do we have a sense on the map? How close are we?
Well, the map is now no longer of use. That got you to the pit. Now, everything from here on is your own sense of direction. Based on what Mike and Ed sensed earlier, it feels like you're going in the right direction, and you are continually going deeper and deeper into the roots of the mountain. You get the feeling that that means you're definitely on the right direction, because at some point, with the exception of Mike and Ed, you and Giancarlo are beginning to get that kind of wilty, like it's like when you're in front of an oven too long. So it's like the heat is beginning to become very oppressive, very difficult. There's even occasionally tremors in the ground, subtle earthquakes, like very subtle kind of earth tremors, as if maybe the place down here is still seismically active. And
do they feel? I was gonna ask if they feel like seismic or if they feel like a creature's moving.
No, they're very erratic with no sense of pattern.
Don't mind the tremors, it's just the mountain.
I would pay a little king's ransom if you could say anything that was not deeply disconcerting. Literally anything.
We don't understand what's disconcerting. We feel very much at home here. A little dry for our taste.
You see, these are the things I am speaking of. This is how to speak. I have no word to come. I feel like you are waiting for us to be murdered on our adventure, and for you to take root in our corpses. That is somewhat the vibe I am getting from you, and I forgive any
We can do that. If you
misunderstanding
like.
here. You seem like you are a parasitic organism that wishes to spread yourself into other beings through territory. That is the vibe I'm getting over here.
We prefer dead items, dead things. We
You
prefer
see
the
that
dead.
again? Not helping with the disconcerting.
Are there any like are there any remains at all down here now that we're like getting into things?
No, once again, it's just the
There's no like bodies or
continuation.
anything.
No, it's just soot, heavy soot on the walls, heavy soot on the ceiling, like a very intense fire burnt through all these places.
This burned. Can I get a sense of like it? How long ago? Like we would know. We out of character would know. Probably 10 years, but
Yeah, 10 years ago. I mean, you get the feeling
Yeah.
that no one's been down here in the last decade.
okay. So we can continue. And like I just keep walking. I'm walking ahead, but I keep walking because I can see. I don't know. Do you guys have dark vision at all?
Do I have dark vision?
Desmond's human, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's straight
you
up human.
don't.
It's fine.
Okay,
I
I have
don't.
dark vision, so I can see just fine. But I've given you that little like mushroom torch back there, so.
I appreciate that.
But I'll stay in the
Desmond-
front because I can see.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just trusting the people around him. And he's so afraid that he's like singing to himself, like, Jeremiah was a bullfrog and a good friend of mine. Just like really trying to get through this.
The famous bardic song, Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
We spoke to a frog one time, but he was not Jeremiah.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
You do not miss much. The bullywug did one referencing Jeremiah. I believe I'll catch his name. I believe I crew with him at the Astro Sea a decade or so ago. He was a bit of a prick, you might say. Did not enjoy. We stranded in the Astro Sea for this 3 or 4 weeks. I would say it's very tasty. We did, in fact, he succumbed to some injuries, and well, we may do, you know. Eternal loves the Astro Sea.
This
Are you
journey
aware?
takes you guys deeper and deeper as the conversation is echoing off the walls of the tunnel and the heat becomes more intense. Suddenly you're on a outcropping at the end of the tunnel that is looking down into the large caldera of a volcano that collapsed 10 years ago. And upon its collapse, you can see structures and stone buildings sticking up through the rubble due to its collapse. You could see little foot trails that lead down into the caldera itself. Looking into the caldera, give me perception checks for everybody.
21.
21.
That plus 9 is really handy.
I had the opportunity to level up my perception, and I did not take that. So.
Well, I'm wisdom based, so.
Ooh, nat 20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
For
So it's a
Giancarlo
22.
and Mike Kenneth, you begin to scan all the structures and debris down in the collapsed caldera. Desmond is looking at the collapsed caldera, but is completely distracted by the thin rivulets of magma that are running in between bits of rubble and collapsed areas down below. And it's so warm down here, you can actually see the air kind of shimmer. You know, it gets that kind of blurry sensation to it because it's so warm. But Mike and Giancarlo, per the description of the laboratory, there are 2 buildings that still look to be mostly intact. You get the feeling those might be your best candidates for possibly being the arcane workshop. It's about a 200-foot walk down into the caldera, and then maybe another 300 or 400 feet to get to the buildings.
If you would like to wait, we could try and see if we can sense the residuum ahead.
If that is what you wish, or I was going to speak to Desmond here, have him hand me his rope. This is piddly, what was it, 100 meters or so of rope? That would surely get us down there. I can carry you, but and he can shimmy his way down, I suppose. Really, Houdini?
So, can I ritual cast Commune with Nature again? Specifically now looking for the residuum, because I can look for prevalent kind of plant, mineral, or beast.
Yeah. So in those 2 buildings, one appears or would feel like an entry structure into the second building. The second building contains very subtle hints of heavily magically refined green powder in your mind. Whatever these guild people did, whatever these copper takers and copper makers did to it, it has changed the very nature and essence of the residuum. It has made it more powerful. It has made it more aware, so that your innate sense of it is very much there for you. And that second building structure is definitely the one that you're looking for.
We can feel it in the second building.
I'll be right back.
Uh,
I really like the creepy characters, if you can't tell.
I am thoroughly creeped out. Cool. So how are we getting there? Is Giancarlo strong enough to carry me, who will then carry you? That sounds fair.
Giancarlo is almost certainly not strong enough to carry you. I am a weak little, I'm a flamingo. I'm not built for strength. I'm very tall. That's not it.
I'm dainty. It'll be okay.
I mean, there is a path.
It feels like a trap. If
Yeah.
Giancarlo can do some carry ropes, we can maybe just like find a roundabout way. My one strength is dexterity, so hopefully I can just kind of jump around.
He did say it was only about 100 feet.
Like
so-
cloudy and dry outside. It's really strange here today.
Oh,
Did it rain for you yet, Tally?
it rained yesterday.
It hasn't rained for us much yet today.
Just had dead rain for the last 2 days.
Uh,
Not heavy,
Yeah,
but
it's a-
just that Pacific Northwest rain.
yeah, just enough to make it miserable.
Yeah, just enough to make everything wet.
Pretty much.
There's a very obvious footpath that you could take to go down into the caldera, but you already get the sense that the ground is unstable. You could see Desmond like points it out, and you could see little thin rivulets of exposed magma, which you get the feeling that's where the heat is kind of building up from. And as you begin to examine that building and decide that's the building you're going to focus on, you feel this kind of subtle tremor. A nearby rock fall patters down into the caldera.
Just looking-
Good.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to suggest if there are any other roundabout paths where we could just like do some. If Giancarlo could like carry a rope, and if it feels more stable, we could try and use that to kind of get around.
I have no issue with this. I can take the rope. And now that we are not going down the 200 meter vertical drop, that should be fine. These are the places.
Yeah, let's see. If we have any other way to just like go in that is not quite as obvious in case you encounter something, which doesn't seem likely down here, but nevertheless. Any luck? Does anybody with better perception or nature understanding than me kind of notice any more secure areas around it?
I'll do a checker, but as my perception is not amazing.
Giancarlo, you can carry us. We will help with Desmond. And I reach out and I touch Desmond and cast gaseous form.
Oh my god, I'm gas.
I always wanted to be an energy gas. This is awesome.
It turns you into gas. And you can fly.
I've been turned into a fart. He screams while moving upwards.
You're like changing into the gaseous
You
form.
You can float and like move at So if
That's
Giancarlo
pretty
carries me, you're now spores.
I'm a
So I'm just
fart.
gonna. Do I have? Let me see something. I just want to see if I have anything. Might be a bad idea. I'll just go ahead and pull out a water skin and just kind of dump it out and try to shove Desmond's gaseous form in there, and then just kind of.
They can fly. You just take us. Go.
Just
You
pick
watch
him up.
his-
I'll pick up.
Yeah.
Making it my like his collar just really kind of slide down.
Covered in all the spores.
Yeah.
So with that,
Ugh.
Giancarlo grabs Myconith and Desmond floating nearby in gaseous form to avoid the possibility of the strata and the rock not holding anybody's weight. You guys drift down until you reach the top structure of the building that you're hoping to get into. And as you stand on top of this building, there are some gaps in the stonework. There's some areas that look like it might offer a glimpse into its interior. As Giancarlo and Myconith focus and look through the cracks of the ceiling, you can see that you're looking down into a laboratory structure. You could see stone tables. You could see all of the devices and items that you'd expect to see. You can see a pit, an open pit that looks like it gives you direct access to a large degree of magma that's boiling inside of the center of the workshop. There's a heavy crane that's kind of hovering over that pit, and there seems to be some kind of magical device on the crane. You can also see the remnants of material and things that an arcane lab would use to do enchantments and other works. It would appear that you found the building.
So what,
Desmond, would you like to go inside? You are still gas. It must be easy to go through the cracks.
I guess I'll do as Gas does. And then he kind of
Drift right through the cracks. And as you drift through the cracks and begin to descend down into the laboratory, Myconith and Giancarlo, what are you two doing?
I'm hoping that when Desmond gets in, they can unlock a door or open a place for us to get in. But if I drop concentration, they're gonna change back quickly. Hopefully not halfway through the wall.
Desmond, as you're coming through the top structure, you can see an old stair, like a stone stairwell that leads from the bottom of the laboratory up into the top of the laboratory. At the top of those stairs, you could see an old collapsed door, an old collapsed entryway. You get the feeling that the entryway into the laboratory probably took a severe amount of damage when the caldera collapsed, and the main entrance into the lab is now blocked by stone.
You could come back out too. This is concentration for an hour for me, so we've got time.
Oh. I guess I'll kind of do a little round
Okay.
just to make sure I see everything. And
Yeah, give
find what I'm
me
looking
either what's better for you, investigation or perception?
for. Perception.
Yeah, give me a perception check as you're examining the laboratory.
Nat 20, that's a 23.
Nice. As you're floating about in your gaseous form, remembering the details of the letter, there are 3 kind of copper-plated vats that are over in the corner of the laboratory. Inside the 3 vats that are roughly maybe 5 gallons each, you can see the liquid remains of a green kind of substance inside each one of those vats. It gives off a very kind of arcane sheen. You get the feeling that these are the items that Myconith was talking about in the letter from Puck. This must be the already processed residual. But there's a 4th vat next to the other 3 that looks to have spilt over. The metal looks crumpled, and it is there are no contents of residuum inside the fourth one.
Weird. In that check, can I also see if there's just anything I really want to steal or worth stealing?
There are spell books down here. There are material components of all sorts. There are things for the purposes of enchantment. So there's small diamonds and small rubies and emeralds that have been kind of purposely worked for the purposes of engraving them into jewelry and then giving the jewelry enchantments. It's a very detailed laboratory with a lot of material that's been down here ever since the caldera collapsed.
Does it feel like somebody else is still using the space, or does it feel like the space has not been used since?
With that roll, no one has been using the space as far as you can tell, but the center pit of the room has access to the magma that's down below. There's a big crane that can bring something over to be lowered into the magma. You get the feeling that they were working with something of unique condition down here. But everything is absent of being covered in soot or the sign. This interior space has avoided all of the fire damage that you've seen outside of Thane's Reach. This place seems surprisingly intact, but not really used.
I kind of waft back up. You guys! Okay, so I found the thing that we were looking for. It also seems like maybe there is some kind of spell protecting that space from fire damage, so maybe it's kind of better for us to stay there for a minute. If I go back in there, can you turn me back into a person? I miss having flesh.
I have to turn you back into a person for you to talk.
Oh.
You're not.
So when you come back out, I'm just gonna boop, and you're
Okay,
yeah.
I'm okay with that. I tell them everything.
Yeah, as Desmond describes everything down below the collapsed stairwell, the three of you go over to where the collapsed stairwell is. It's filled with a lot of loose rock and boulders. There's a bit of a gap. Maybe if you can shift some of the stone and rock out of the way, there might be a way to come through the stairwell and get down into the arcane laboratory.
Can I try to cast Mold Earth?
Absolutely. You guys watch as Desmond casts Mold Earth, which allows the earth that surrounds most of the rubble to kind of like form away. And then there's a heavy kind of thunking sound as the rocks loosen and tumble down the stone stairs, and the stairwell is now accessible. And the three of you are staring down into the arcane laboratory.
While we're doing that, I'll cast Detect Magic. Ritual cast Detect Magic while we're clearing things, so I can start picking up on what's down here, knowing what we're looking for.
The stairwell is about 25 feet down into the laboratory. As you guys traverse the stairwell, start coming down into the laboratory itself, you begin to see all the things that Desmond was talking about. Except you begin to realize there might be a different reason why the soot is not here. He didn't notice it before, but there is a creature over by a series of rocks that seems to be eating the soot and ember that's at the edge of the pit down below. It immediately, like, kind of in a kind of like a praying mantis way, kind of arcs its form up and around. Its mandibles begin to clack wildly together. And as the mandibles clack, you hear more mandibles and other mandibles as a swarm of firebugs begin to skitter across the area in your direction. I need everyone to roll for initiative.
No!
Okay, not bad.
Yay!
Okay.
Not bad, not bad. Why I roll better initiative this time than I do with every other character I play?
I know, right? Same here, and I have +9 to initiative, so it's like,
What?
oh, I can't math.
That is crazy talk. I just
Yeah,
have a
it's
+3.
insane.
I also have +9 for initiative.
Well, you guys better go before me. Yes, you do. Well before me. Okay, good.
Nice.
Gotta find a mini for Desmond.
That black hooded archer there looks good right there. Left. Right. Next to the red.
This one?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. We'll use that one for tonight. One of these days, you got to do a Tailspire mini for Desmond because he does have a gun, which would be pretty cool.
I am excited for the gun aspect, yes.
So if you find another place that where you can import those virtual tabletop minis, let me know, because I'm not super thrilled with how either of my Eric Coker turned out. Like, they're as good as I can make them in Hero Forge, but
You got to use the Corvid face, right?
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because of licensing. There's only so much they're allowed to do is the problem.
It's that's why it's Raven Bulk and all that other shit. Like, they can't exactly be like, hey, you can't be a bird person. No. I just feel like if there's another website you know of that does a similar thing and lets you use those models, because I don't know anything about that. That's
All right, let's get you. Whoa, Desmond with the 26. Look at that.
Giancarlo.
27 for Giancarlo?
Here, I'll put mine in the front so it's easier to.
We have a lot of initiative as a group.
Yeah, you do. Giancarlo, you are up with Desmond on deck.
All right. So, what is the closest creature to me?
There's one here. There's one here and one here.
Okay, I'm going to go towards the guy on the far left. You said they're fire ants, right?
They are firebugs.
Firebugs. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is one of my things that I got is Gloves of the Will, which gives me advantage on anything, basically for first attack of the action, like per turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pepper box. I'm going to take a shot at him. So I do have advantage on that.
So you're staying back and taking a shot.
Yes, for the first action, I'm going to take a shot.
Okay.
There. So we roll that with advantage. Nice. Okay, what is that? I believe that is a 25, but let me double check. Yeah, 25 to hit?
Yep, that'll definitely hit with an extra D4 of damage.
Okay. Because this is going to be fun to fucking roll. Yeah, because this is going to do just an absolute stupid amount of extra dice. So give me a minute. Where did my trash can thing go? Because the other thing is, because that's a sneak attack, first one, I'm using all of the dice on this guy because I don't really care about sapping him. All right, let's see. We have 4, 12, 22, 27, 32 total damage.
Nice.
Yeah. That is with the first attack.
Pepper box goes off and tags into the firebug, cracks its carapace, and begins to leak lava-like fluid from its form, and it even kind of sizzles and bubbles with the flame as it drops onto the stone floor.
How far away is the next closest one? I know you said there's 2 more back there. I don't want to.
Yeah, there's one here, here, and here. This one would be your next closest one right there.
Okay. I'm going to try to go around the side there, just like fly over that if I have to or if I can. I'm going to attack him with my other stuff. I'm going to try to hit him with my Serpent's Fang, which is a set of daggers that I have.
Are you throwing him or getting him bait?
Oh, I'm getting. Sorry, I'm trying to hit him, like physically, like stick him with him.
So you need to get in base with him.
Yes, correct.
Okay. What's your movement? 60?
50 flying.
50 flying.
If I can't get to him, I'll change pace. I'll go over and I'll physically attack the
Exactly
other guy.
50 to get in base with him.
Okay. So, all right. So, standard roll on this guy.
Yes, because no. Do you have anything that gives you advantage?
I would have, if I was flying at him, I would have thought I'd be above him, but that'd be the only thing.
But you're in base with him, so yeah, just be your. How many attacks do you get per action?
Just one.
Okay, yeah, so it's normal attack.
Okay. All right, that is a 23 to hit.
That'll hit, not with extra damage. So go ahead and roll for damage. But I'll also need you to make a con save as well.
All right. Give me 1 second because I got to do a different thing on this because the weapon I'm hitting him with has its own thing there. Oh, and I didn't have that. The other guy, I apologize. The guy I first hit, I did not include the +5 that I get for my expertise with it, or my proficiency with it. So he took 37 damage.
You got it.
But give me a second. This guy is 24 and 28. I'll make a con save here in a second.
No worries.
All right, so that sucks. All right, 5, 10.
I think Giancarlo looks good.
Looks awesome.
That is 16 damage to him. Is that right? Yeah, 16 damage. 9 of it is piercing. The rest of it is poison.
Okay.
And you said a con save?
Con save once you strike the target.
Oh, that sucks. What's my constitution? That is a 5.
5. As you strike into the firebug and crack its carapace with your weapon, you get splattered with a strange kind of liquid fire that sprays across your hand and your arm as you take 10 points of fire damage.
Mon Dieu! My good, she is, how you say? She's cooked.
Roasted flamingo.
Smells more like
you have
duck.
1 AP left. You took a shot, you moved, and you stabbed it with a dagger.
All right. I'm going to use a cure wounds from an axe that I have, so that's 1d8. I'll do that real quick.
Okay.
Okay, that was useless. That was 1. Nice. All right. Well, maybe I'll wait a little bit on those. But all right. So that's it. That's me done.
I'll finish your turn. Desmond, you are up. You can see a firebug here. See one here that Giancarlo is in base with, one here, and one in the back as well.
And underneath us is the lava, correct?
Correct. And down in the pit, you can see the waves of heat kind of shimmering up out of the pit, and there's definitely a much more intense heat. You get the feeling that if you try to cross that pit, it would be very dangerous.
Do I feel like with mold earth, if I loosen the earth, I can loosen it enough that it would drop all the way down to the lava? Or would it be too much for 30 feet?
Yeah, it's the pit itself is 30 by 30 foot, squared. So it's a lot. You'd have to expend a lot of mold earth ability to be able to fill that pit in.
Oh, I meant almost the opposite. If I go next to one of the bugs and I loosen earth.
Oh yeah, no, I love that. No, yeah, if you were to mold earth right next to the firebug right there, absolutely.
Nice. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just
you reach out and
dash.
turn the stone into a kind of like a sandy grit that begins to fall underneath the firebug's strange claw-like feet. Definitely gonna fail its dex save. It slides down and you lose track of it as it disappears into the lava pit.
Yay.
And that was a spell, correct? Or a cantrip?
That was a cantrip.
You got 3 AP left?
Do I kind of recall the sound they made to like alert each other to come here?
Yeah, it was like a clacking of their mandibles, like a hollow sound, and then kind of like a very kind of repetitive screeching, like a guttural screeching sound as well.
I'm gonna try and use thaumaturgy. Thaumaturology.
Thaumaturgy?
Yeah, that's the one.
Thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy.
Can I create any sound with that, or just like one of the sounds that they are listed?
You want to try to mimic the sound that they make with it?
Yeah, but I'm gonna try and mimic it away from us.
Gotcha. Give me either intimidation or persuasion as you try to do that.
Let's see which I have higher. They're all +1, so let's hope for the best. That's a 1, so that's a 2.
What? Yeah, like you. It seems like a great idea until you try to mimic what they did, and they make no response whatsoever.
Oh, come on, guys! I'm trying. Okay.
So I have 2 AP left.
2 AP left. I'm just gonna shoot him.
Which one? The one on the one straight ahead?
Yeah, it feels like the easiest shot.
Go for it.
That's a 23.
That'll definitely hit. Roll for damage.
That's a 17. And does that creature perceive me?
Yeah, I mean, it would be aware that you're there.
So I can't do sneak attack bonus on it.
If
Um,
it's in
within
base
5
with
feet.
Giancarlo, you can.
Yeah. You can. I'm
oh
right
yeah,
there.
that's right. No, but she shot at the middle one.
Oh, you
not-
shot that one. Okay.
Oh, I
Say
should shoot
you-
at that guy.
We'll say you went after the one that's in base with Giancarlo. That way you get advantage.
Oh.
Go ahead and roll again, just in case you get a natural 20. See if you get a crit.
And you get sneak attack with that one.
I might wait on the sneak attack bonus in case we deal with something worse and
I mean,
scary.
it is per turn, so
It's
you
per
can
turn.
do that. Yeah.
And
No.
as long as something's in base with it. Are you talking
Yeah,
about trying
17
to.
is the highest. Is the higher one.
So you rolling sneak attack damage?
No, I decided that it probably I might as well, because I can only do it once per long rest. So if we encounter something worse, which knowing you might happen, I might as well
Good.
just have that on hand.
You can only
Is it
do.
like a special sneak attack thing? Or
Is it special for your character? Because that's not usually how sneak attack
Oh.
works.
if it's a
Once
rogue,
per
it's sneak
turn, you
attack.
can deal. Oh, it's once per turn. I'm sorry, I thought.
once
It,
per
I was
turn.
going to say.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, no, that's better.
yeah. Roll that
That's-
sneak attack damage.
So that's 17 plus 17.
Yeah, 34. Plus all the damage that Giancarlo did to it. Its carapace is heavily cracked. You can see fluid now leaking, this fiery fluid leaking out of its form and splattering onto the ground. The one in base with Giancarlo is starting to look rough. I believe you have one more AP.
I will use that to sneakily move by the side of all of the cool spell stuff. And kind of while I'm there, I'm kind of eyeing to see if if anything seems particularly valuable.
Nice. What's your passive perception?
Bad. Passive perception is 13.
13. Okay, I'll finish your turn. The firebugs are up with Myconith on deck. I'm going to spend 1 AP to do enlarge.
What now?
Which will give him 25 hit points back. Going to spend another AP to do fire spray. Giancarlo leave?
He's muted.
I'm here. I just wanted to.
there you
go.
Giancarlo, give me a dex save, please.
Oh, I'm good at those. Give me a sec to find out what my bonus is.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I know. There's no way this could possibly end. Oh my god. Crit fail.
No.
Like I said.
Ooh.
It's a total of 10, but yeah, I got a 1 plus 9.
Yeah, you watch as the firebug just sprays this fire and liquid directly at you as you take 26 points of fire damage.
Woof.
So 1 AP to enlarge, 1 AP for fire spray. It's now going to take its 2 mandible attacks on you. That is a 12 and a 24.
The 24 hits, the 12 does not. It's the extra stuff is 5 or more over, right?
Correct.
Okay, he gets the 24 is exactly 5 over my AC.
Okay, so he gets a D4. That is going to be 13 points of piercing damage. And then he is going to take 2 more mandible attacks on you with disadvantage. That will miss. And that will miss as well. I'll finish his turn. 1 AP to enlarge. This one is going to skitter this way. Spend 2 AP to get over in front of the stairwell and in base with Myconith. 1, 2, 3. It's got 1 AP left. It is.
As it comes to 10 feet, I'm going to use my Halo of Spores reaction.
Go for it.
It's just 1d8 necrotic damage, but you gotta roll a con save. It's a con 17.
Con 17. You guys are pretty beefy. That's 19 plus 5, so that's 24.
He makes it. Yep.
Okay. He is going to take 2 mandible attacks on you. That is a 12 and a 17.
Neither one hits.
No hits?
Nope, no hits.
Okay. We'll finish that one. And then this one, 1 AP to enlarge. And then it's going to move. Move's gonna skitter across the crane.
What?
It's gonna take 1 AP to enlarge, 2 AP to get in the base with Desmond. It's going to fire spray you, Desmond. Give me a dex save if you would, please.
Can I also do Uncanny Dodge? Actually, let me do the first one. Dex save.
Yep.
Just out of curiosity, I didn't see it. Is one of the ones that moved over there? Is that one of those the ones that was attacking me, or is that a different
Nope.
guy?
The one that was attacking you is still in base with you.
Okay, I couldn't see that. My bad.
It's 13, but I am gonna try and use Uncanny Dodge, which means that if an attacker hits you, an attacker you can see hits you within. When an attacker you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to have the attacker's damage against you.
Okay. So half. It's going to do 28 points of fire damage on you, so you can half that to 14.
Not cool, bro.
That'll finish the firebug's turn. Myconith, you are up. That will be at the top of the second round with Giancarlo on deck.
All right. My second action, because my first one was my reaction earlier, right? So,
Yep, so you have 3 AP.
Yep, 3 AP left. So my first one, or my first of the last 3 AP is Wild Shape, but I'm using it's my skill. It's Symbiotic Entity. It just burns a Wild Shape to use this thing.
Okay.
So I awaken spores around me. I get 40 temp HP, and I can double damage for my Halo Spores, and additional 1d6 necrotic damage with a melee weapon attack. All that lasts for 10 minutes. Okay. Now that's out of the way.
Okay.
I'm going to. All right. Yeah, I'm going to scroll up so I can see my attacks. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try a chill touch on the one that's right in front of me.
Okay.
So I have a +9 to hit with that. That's not great though. That's a 16.
16. Unfortunately, that's just barely gonna miss. Their armor class is 17.
Okay. Then.
Chill touch is a cantrip.
Yep. Chill touch is a cantrip.
You got 1 AP left.
Yep. And if I try it again, it'll be with a disadvantage, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So if that's the case,
Of course, you do have another target over here.
yeah, what I have to be able to touch it. Chill touch is melee range.
Okay.
But what was I gonna do? They're pretty beefy with con. Okay. I'm gonna try. Let's see. Let's use my quarterstaff. So shillelagh.
Shillelagh.
Yeah, shillelagh. Right. However it's pronounced, right? Club or quarterstaff you're holding is imbued with nature's power for the duration. You can use your spell casting instead of that. Weapon's damage die becomes a D10 now for my weapon attack.
Correct.
Yep. And yeah, okay. But that's a cantrip. So does that work? So I would just make an attack and I'm casting that same time because of the
Correct.
bonus action thing? Okay. All right. Okay. Just making sure I got that right. Okay. Then yeah. So yeah, shillelagh. And I'm going to swing at it with my quarterstaff. So that makes it a +9 to hit also. How about a 21?
21 will hit. Roll for damage.
Okay, so that's 1d10. Let me make sure I do this math right. Sorry. 1d10 +5. That's good because that's 9 plus 5 is 14 plus. Where is it? That's Halo Spore. Sorry. Moves in your space. Sorry. I'm also going to add Fury the Small to that. When you damage a creature whose size is larger than you with an attack or a spell, you can deal an extra +4 damage.
Okay.
I can do that 4 times, so I'm going to go and do that there. So that makes a total of 18.
Okay. Go ahead and make a con save as you physically strike the creature.
Yep. 7.
7. That'll fail.
Yep.
Flame and bits of blood that kind of like combusts splatters across your hands and arm as you take 8 points of fire damage.
Yep.
I'll finish your turn.
Uh-huh.
Top of the second round, Giancarlo is up with Desmond on deck.
There I am. All right. So first off, Giancarlo is going to do like the big damn hero moment, like, bit of blood trickling from his mouth. Just like, how do you use the greatest honor I can think of? You have injured me in combat. You men can say this, but a bug, I will cook you in a butter sauce. So, first attack, I do get advantage because of my gloves. So I'm gonna go.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to shoot him.
Go for it.
Okay. Actually, I don't know if this means anything. But so what's that? That is a 24. 24.
24 will definitely hit, including an extra D4 of damage.
Okay. So what's that? That is 1d6 plus. Where are you? I think it's 5d6. So. 17, 18. Where'd my D4 go? Where did my D4 go?
I'm just glad that Eric uses real dice now.
I know, right? 21. That is 26 damage to him.
Nice. As you pepperbox him, the shot goes off, and it just cracks the last of his carapace that's held together. And the whole form of the firebug just kind of collapses in on itself, and it kind of shudders for a brief second, and then it like explodes around you. I need you to make a con save, if you would, please.
Yeah. I think that's like, I'm almost positive I failed, but that is an 8.
An 8. Take 12 points of fire damage from its exploding remains.
You said, I'm sorry, did you say 8?
12.
Or 12?
12
Oh,
points.
okay, sorry. I could not hear. I couldn't hear you there. My bad. All right. Do you have a clear? How far away is the next closest one to me that crossed the bridge?
There
Main
is one in base with Desmond and one in base with Mykonith.
Okay.
This one
But, I mean,
appears to be the closest. Standing at the edge of the pit, and you can see the magma down below, you can see one of the bugs is now steadily crawling up the side of the pit.
All right. I want to kind of move to my right a little bit to get a cleaner shot on the one fighting Mykonid.
Come this way.
Yes. That way, maybe a little bit forward because he is in base with him, right?
Yep,
Okay, cool. So
you're right there.
that's fine. I'm going to take another shot with my pepper box at the guy he's fighting, and because he's in base with him, that is another sneak attack.
It is.
25.
That'll definitely hit. Extra D4 of damage.
All right. I don't think I get to use once per turn, right? Yeah, I can't do it with 5d6 again, but I can definitely hit him with what I got. Oh, I'm fucking stupid. I rolled the wrong die on that, but whatever. He's dead. Ooh, not bad. That is 15 damage to that guy.
Okay.
All right. I don't think. I think I might have to rethink one of my items here because it didn't do too much.
You have 1 AP left.
All right. I'd like to try to use my my hat of disguise to maybe like camouflage. Oh, I take that back. Can I? That little wheel in the center of the screen, is that like the pulley system?
Yep, that's the crane, and there's the edge of the crane right here. It appears to be part of whatever the lab was using to interact or create things of magic.
Okay. Does it look sturdy enough to hold my weight?
Yeah,
Like, I'm a
it's
bird
really
man. I don't weigh.
it's pretty bulky. It looks like it could definitely, be serviceable.
Different. Okay, I want to just perch on top of that, just so I'm above other people. Because my pepper box is definitely doing a lot more of the heavy lifting that I thought it was going to be doing.
I like that it's like circling it.
Yeah.
It's like realistic.
All right, and that's my last point, right?
That will be, well, you still had half your movement. So I'll say, because you moved 25 feet, and then it was 25 feet to get up there. You still have 1 AP.
All right. I have no idea what these guys' senses are like, but I'm pretty beaten up, so I'm going to use my hat of what is the name of this thing? My hat of disguise. How clever! I'm going to try to make myself look more like just a pile of rags or something on top of theirs, so I just don't look like.
Give me a deception check with advantage.
Get out of there. Ooh, I actually got 2 nat 20s on that.
Oh my god.
That's hysterical.
I couldn't make that up if I wanted to, but yeah.
What's the total?
Let me double check my deception. Would this be sleight of hand or
Deception?
Or just straight deception? So that'd be 23 total, but it is a nat 20.
Yeah, that works in combat, but not for skill checks.
Yeah.
So that's 23. That'll finish. That'll finish Giancarlo's turn. Desmond, you are up with the firebugs on deck.
Okay. I'll use my bonus action to disengage.
Okay, where are you heading off to?
I'm gonna kind of climb the wall, and I believe as a thief, I have the feat that allows me to climb the same speed as walking.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna climb up the wall, get a good angle going, and then shoot.
All right, go for it.
So my first one is gonna be Vicious Revolver. It's 24 to hit.
That'll hit, but really quick, give me athletics or acrobatics as you climb the wall. Just to make sure you don't fumble it.
Acrobatics is 15.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead and roll damage. You get an extra d4 of damage.
Yay. 18 with the extra d4.
Nice. And you have 1 AP left.
Do I have any movement left?
You have a little bit of movement left because you move 30 feet, right?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of try to hide myself a little bit.
Give me a stealth check as you try to hide yourself in the wall that you're climbing.
That's a 26.
6. That'll finish Desmond's turn. The firebugs are up. The firebug does not understand where you've gone. So this one is... where's this one back? Oh, no, that one exploded.
There was the one in the pit.
Yep. He's got a long crawl up, though.
Yeah, I didn't know if that's what the one you were looking for.
No, he's still... It's going to take him 3 rounds to get to the top of the pit. This one is going to pivot towards Myconith. So, Myconith, you have 2 mandible attacks coming at you.
Oh no.
Yep.
Does have
Oh no, you
pack
guys
tactics.
went and hid away.
Well,
And no, oh no, in that you all just hopped up and disappeared.
They do have pack tactics, so that's going
Yeah.
to be with advantage. So that is an 18 plus 7 is a 25.
18 hits.
And then 19 plus 7 is a 26.
Both of those are 25 and 26, both 5 over my
Okay.
AC. Not 10, but 5. Yeah.
That'll be 19 points of piercing damage.
Ouch.
He's then going to spend 2 AP to do 2 more regular attacks. Both of those will miss. They spend his final AP to attack with disadvantage. Double disadvantage, technically. That'll miss. That'll miss as well. This one will do the same thing. He's going to do 2 regular attacks. That is pack tactics, so it's with advantage. So that's going to be a 26 and a 25. So both those will hit.
Both hit, both with 1 d4 extra.
That's another 16 points of piercing damage.
All right.
how are we looking?
Oh, I'm fine.
Gonna spend
Sarcasm?
No,
Sure,
that all it
you-
did was take all my temporary HP out. So.
Oh.
yeah, that's what that's there for. His
Uh
next to- and then a disadvantage that will miss as well. That finish the firebug's turn. Myconith, you are up with Giancarlo on deck at the top of the 3rd round.
Yep. I am going to see if I can make this work. All right.
Hey, buddy.
Okay. I'm going to cast plant growth. And it's 100-foot radius. So that should cover the whole floor of this place.
Okay.
I'll read the spell real quick. So overgrowth. So plant growth, overgrowth. Choose a point within range. All normal plants in a 100-foot radius sphere centered on a point become thick and overgrown. A creature moving through that area must spend 4 feet of movement for every 1 foot it moves.
Do there have to be plants present?
So probably, because the thing, I mean, so the way it reads, it doesn't say within these. It says, channel vitality to plants. Okay, never mind. Not going to do that. That won't work. Never mind.
Yeah, nothing really grows down here because of the excessive heat.
Yeah. In that case, let's try. Make sure I got a range. No, okay. Okay, the one that is beside me has taken damage now. I'll just start with a chill touch on it again.
Okay, go for it.
So that's, +9 to hit. Gosh, nope, that misses. 13. I can't roll for anything now. All right. So that one missed. Okay, he seems away from me. Man, I really okay. So I'm gonna cast Blight on the one that's taken damage. Yeah, so I'm gonna cast Blight on it.
Con save.
That's con save 17.
That is going to be an 18 plus 5.
All right, so let me get my D8 because I still got to roll the D8, but so like it's only half damage. Yeah.
It will take half damage.
Yeah, 8d8. 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. 8. All right. 8, 17, 18, 24, 29. So half of 29.
14 points of necrotic damage.
Yep.
Kind of withers and streaks under the kind of decay of the effect of blight.
Yep. And then with my last action, I'm gonna swing at the other one, I guess.
Go for it.
With chill touch again.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, because it's just a touch, it's not like a hit. That hopefully there's not gonna be a lot of splash damage coming off of this now. Those dice away. God, 13 again.
Nope.
It don't matter what dice I roll. I'm not gonna. I can't hit anything.
To jail with them. To jail.
Yeah, that's 2.
Jail for dice. Jail for 1,000 years.
You're going.
That'll
They're
finish
going
Micah's turn. Top of the 3rd round. Giancarlo, you are up. You're currently disguised as a pile of rags. You can see clinging on to the side of the wall and like pointing with his revolver down towards the firebugs. You can see Desmond there on the edge of the wall. You are a pile of rags with Desmond on deck.
All right. Which of the two firebugs looks more beat up?
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is probably taking the most damage.
All right. I'll go for that one.
Okay.
Like this. Ooh, nat 20.
Whoa!
Ooh, this is gonna be painful. That is max crit, my friend.
Yep. So let me find a D10. So that would be 20 just from the pepper box. Or is it a D8?
Any dice that you would roll, you max those dice.
Okay.
Because
So
you're
that
doing
is
this
a
with
D10.
sneak attack as well, right?
Yep.
So what do you
So
roll?
what would that be? 10, 30. So that would be 60 total damage before I add like anything up above and beyond like the plus 5 from mine.
Are you like a full blown rogue?
Yeah. So it's a 1d10 and then 5d6 from the sneak attack. So that would be
So that's
damage.
30. That's automatically 40 points of damage off your dice.
Yeah.
So that's 1d10, right?
Yeah. 1d10 plus 5d6.
So that's 40 points of damage. Now you get to re-roll all those dice and add them together.
Where'd my d10 go? Oh,
if I can
let's see what we
actually
got.
hit anything, I might get somewhere with this. But
6, 7, 10, 20. Okay, that would be 25.
So that's 65 points of damage, and then what's your modifier for damage?
It's 5. I added that, so it's an extra
okay.
25 on there.
Gotcha.
So,
That
how
one
has
was
he?
looking. That one was looking very rough. That pepper box shot just crashes into the back of its carapace through the thorax of the creature, and you can see that it cracks open. You can see the kind of flaming internals of the creature as well. It is looking very rough.
I automatically get an advantage shot from one of the effects of my items, but because he's in base, do I still get advantage? Do I get advantage just because I'm higher than him? Just before I roll again?
Well, the problem is that you don't.
I know it would be -1 of those because it's his second attack, but yeah.
Well, no. So the two creatures are in base with Myconith. If it was only one creature, you gain advantage, but because it's two, you don't gain that advantage. You do have advantage for your gloves, and you have advantage for being up high. So you have this next shot would be with advantage.
Okay, I'm gonna probably. I assume he's looking really, really, really rough because I just did 65 points damage to him. Or no?
Oh yeah, he's
80
looking very
damage.
rough. Yeah.
Okay. 16.
That will not hit. That will just barely miss.
Actually, I can burn a lucky point. I can burn a lucky
If
point
you
and
can,
do that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. 21.
21 will hit. Go ahead and roll for damage.
All right. I'll burn my lucky point in a second. 6. That is 11 damage.
11 points of damage. He is barely on his clackers. He's got 2 hit points left.
I appreciate that. In that case, I'm just going to use a. I guess this would be a standard, not an advantage, not a disadvantage, because I'm above. Well, no, this would be double disadvantage. So this would be a disadvantage.
Correct.
But yeah. Unless I change targets. Oh, that's too convoluted. I'll get with you about that later. That's not worth trying to do in the middle of stuff. But all right, I'm just going to do one. I'm going to attempt it at disadvantage and see if I can hit him one more time.
Okay.
What is that? 9? That would be 18.
18 will hit. Go ahead and roll for damage.
All right. 10 plus 5. Okay, well, he's dead. I got 8. So
Okay. Mike, give me a con save if you would, please. As the
Ow.
creature erupts around you.
Hey, it's another 7.
7, that'll fail. That's 18 points of fire damage.
all right.
We are burning.
I smell like butter and mushrooms.
I did not want to be the one to say this, but it smells rather delicious in here. Lobster and prepared, but
It smells like roasted vegetables and mushrooms, sauteed in goblin sweat.
We
For
are
my last action,
burning.
you said I did notice the one bug that was crawling up the shaft.
You did. He's will be at the top of the shaft in the start of the next round.
All right. I want to pull out one of the things I have as an rogue is a bag of of ball bearings. So I just want to like throw the bag above and see if I can scatter those in his path and try to make him lose his footing.
The creature does ignore difficult terrain, so that will not. Yeah.
Oh well.
That'll finish your turn. Desmond, you are up with the bad guys on deck.
Yay. So, since I am hidden, do I also get sneak attack?
You do.
You get sneak attack because I'm in base with it.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So I will.
That means I get explode attack.
I will.
Well, this one hasn't taken any damage yet, so
So I will try to use sneak attack while using vicious revolver.
go for it.
Do I
Oh,
also
it
get
did take a little
advantage since I'm
damage
higher?
from Myconeth. It did take damage from Myconeth.
Since I'm in high terrain, do I also get advantage on my shot?
Yep, you have double advantage. Roll 3d20 and take the higher of the 3 rolls.
Okay, first one is 1, so that's good because that's a 6. Second one, 10. So really, what the fuck? That's an okay. Highest one is a 10, I guess.
You,
Talia, I gave you dice.
revolver
I'm
goes
sorry.
off.
That's what I get for not
It
using my dice.
ricochets on the ground underneath the firebug.
Oh goddamn. Okay.
That's only your first attack, though.
I guess I'm gonna throw. I'm gonna switch to my Morning Star. No,
That
it's like
you have to be in
1.5.
melee with it to hit with that.
Yeah.
You still get advantage
Oh,
because
I'm
you're up
sorry.
in the air on a second shot, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try again. This time we're using dice. Just give me 1 second.
Please.
She reaches up to her shelf to get real dice. I love it.
Listen, sometimes life just gives you a sense. First one is 15.
15 will miss.
Second one is 15.
That's doubles. That's gambler's luck. That's a crit.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yep.
Okay. So the crit.
So what dice do you roll for your pistol?
2d8 plus 5.
Okay,
And
so don't worry about the modifier. The easiest way to do this is, so you have 2d8, so that's automatically 16. And then what dice do you roll for your sneak attack?
Should be 5d6.
5d6, yes.
Right, so that's 30. So you automatically do 48 points of damage.
Oh my god.
Now roll the 2d8 and the sneak attack dice.
So the 2d8. Oh, wait, sorry, I accidentally did the wrong one. The 2d8 is 19,
Okay.
and 5d6 is 19 plus 13, which is not great. It's 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1.
32 plus 48. That's 60 points of damage. As
Whoa.
the shot goes deep into the carapace of the creature, fractures it. You watch as one of its clawed legs kind of tumble away. It's definitely looking rough.
Just
No,
Dim is
not-
laughing.
You don't like the sound of that.
And can I see the creature in the pit?
You can.
I'm gonna try and shoot him down.
Go for it.
Still advantage since I'm up there.
Yep.
Okay, I've learned from my mistakes. I will be using real dice. I have not learned from my mistake because my real dice is 6 plus 5.
Well, and that one will miss. I believe you have 1 AP left, correct?
Oh,
Did
okay.
you
Oh wait,
check
no, I didn't do it again. I didn't use my advantage, so I'll do one more time.
Go for it.
You should have 3 sets. Like,
Okay, it's 8. I don't know why I'm rolling so bad today. This is embarrassing.
You're channeling your inner Will Wheaton.
Who you tell?
You spent 2 AP on the one in with Myconeth and 1 AP on the one in the pit. You still have 1 AP left.
I'm going to throw a firebolt at it and hope for the best. Just
Those
out of
firebolt-
curiosity to see what fire does to them.
I will say this much: the fact that that guy fell into the magma and is crawling out, you get the
Yeah.
feeling that they're immune to fire damage.
Fair. All of my attacks are fire based. um. I'm gonna. Do I have? Is it within? Is it within? Is it within 30 feet of me?
It is not. It's within 60 feet of you.
60 feet. And can I use my bonus action? Because I think one of my bonus actions includes cunning action. You can take a bonus action in each of your turn to dash, disengage, or hide. So can I dash closer until I'm within 30 feet?
Absolutely. That will be your last AP, though.
Oh, but isn't bonus action outside of I guess AP?
Movement.
No. We simplified it by saying that everything's an AP now, with the exception of spells, which is 2 AP.
Which direction is the exit?
That would be the
Stage left, always.
over here. Yeah, it's always stage left. So this is where you guys came down the stairwell into the lab.
So I will climb dash my way to the stairwell.
Okay. Across the rocks, and you're now on the stairwell. I'll finish your turn. This firebug will now be out of the pit. So it's 2 AP to come out of the pit. It is going to skitter onto the stairwell.
No.
It's got 1 AP left. Give me a dex save, if you would, please, Desmond.
That's a 19.
19. That will definitely save. Take half damage. Take half of 26 points of fire damage, which is 13.
Mhm.
What's the one that you automatically succeed? Or what's the one where you don't take damage if you succeed on a dex saving throw for rogues?
Uncanny dodge.
Uncanny
or
dodge.
the other one.
Dodge.
So yeah, if you uncanny dodge as a reaction, you'll take no damage, Desmond.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Okay, and you'll start your next turn with only 3 AP, since that costs an AP to do that.
That's fair.
Myconith. This guy is going to do 2 mandible strikes on you.
Yep.
That's actually going to miss. It's going to spend another AP to do a disadvantage on you. That'll miss. And that'll miss. Then going to spend an AP and do fire breath attack on Desmond. Desmond, give me another dex save, if you would, please.
That's a 13.
13 will fail. You can spend another reaction to succeed and only take half damage. I leave that up to you.
I'll do that.
Okay. That means at the beginning of your next turn, you have 2 AP. Take half of 28 points of fire damage, which is 14 points of fire damage. And then it'll make a breath weapon strike on you, Myconith. Give me a dex save, if you would, please.
Yep. That's 18. Sorry.
18 will succeed. Take half of 21 points of fire damage.
Ouch.
I'll finish the firebug's turn. Myconith is up. Then we'll be at the top of the 4th round with Giancarlo on deck.
Yep. All right. This is not fun getting hit, but all my stuff is con saves. Everything's con. Oh, there's one. Nope, that didn't work. Wait a minute. Maybe it will. Hang on. Okay. So I didn't pay attention to this before, and I probably should have, but goblins have this feature. Crap, what's it called? There it is. Species traits. I'm tiny. I can nimble escape. There it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I can take a disengage or hide action as a bonus action on each of my turns. So I'm going to bonus action disengage,
Which is an action.
Yeah, to move. I like move. It'll be bonus onto my movement, right?
So keep in mind, we've simplified the formula.
Yep.
Right? So all bonus actions are 1 AP. Now,
Okay, I thought some bonus actions went with the AP. Like if I'm moving,
well, but we were trying to simplify that. So this is one of those ones we have to clarify.
Got it. Okay.
So nimble escape for you is inherent to being a goblin, correct?
Yep.
Therefore, you get the combination of both since it's inherent. So when
Okay.
you do nimble escape, you can disengage, move, and hide all in the same time.
Just because I'm tiny.
Correct.
Yeah, I figured it'd be either or with the hide part because I'm not trying to hide. I'm just trying to get out of.
You're
Immediate
able
range.
to do all of
Yeah.
it for 1 AP
Yeah.
if you'd like. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just trying to get out of immediate range with the guy
Okay.
because if I attack him, he gets splashing fire on me.
Which way are you going?
Move 10 feet straight down from where I'm looking at right now, or just straight down screen. Yeah, right there. Yeah,
Okay.
just to get me away from him. Yeah. All right. And
Careful,
then
birds poop from above.
yeah. Then I'm going to do where'd it go? Conjure animals. That would be you conjure nature spirits that appears a large pack of spectral intangible animals in an unoccupied space you can see within range. It lasts for the duration, and you can choose the spirit's animal form, such as wolves, serpents, or birds. You have advantage on strength saving throws while within 5 feet, and on your turn, you can move them up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space. When they move within 10 feet of a creature you can see, and whenever a creature you can see enters a space within 10 feet of the pack or ends its turn there, you can force that creature to make a dex saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d10 slashing damage.
So you're summoning nature spirit, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to put it so that both of them would be hit by, like right in between them there, right?
Yep.
Is there enough space for it to be in between them there?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. That way they're both within range of it, and they both
What's the
have to
save?
make dex saving throws 17.
That is a 1 + 2 is a 3, and a 14 + 2 is a 16.
Okay, they both fail. So that's 3d10.
Whoa.
12. I rolled 2 1s and a 10. Awesome. Oh, my roll today. This is like the best roll day for me, right? So that stays there as long as I stay concentrating on it. I'm going to keep concentrating on it for now. Let's say, the advantage. Sorry, I can move them, and I'm trying to think of where it said I can move them. Yeah. You can
And that
move
was a
them up to
spell,
30
right?
feet. Yeah, you can move them. It was a spell, so that's 2 AP. So that's 3 total for me now. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my last AP. Well, no, I can't hold it because that'd be the next turn. Sorry. Dang. Well, my last AP. Let me move that. If I move it, they would get hit again, right? So I'll move it just to the other side of them.
I don't know. That seems OP.
You mean read it? I'll read the spell again. Yeah.
What's
Because
the spell called?
I can move it as an action. It's conjure animals.
You have advantage on strength saving throws while you're within 5 feet of the pack.
Yep.
And when you move on your turn, you can also move the pack up to 30. It says when you move on your turn.
Yeah, I mean, if I need to move again to move them, that I can do that.
But it would be an AP to move.
Yeah.
So that your final AP would be to move.
So that would move with them, or they would move with that, or because it just says.
It says, and
says
when
when
you
you move, you can
move
move
on
them.
your turn,
Yeah.
you can also move the pack up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see.
Yeah. So if I need to move them, it's not clear that happens at the same time. I guess that's my question there.
Well, it's very confusing because what happens is if you're saying you move 10 feet and then 10 feet back, you're bringing the spirits back into them. Which I don't.
Yeah, the intent was to try and just like run the spirit through the guys to give them another. You know what I mean?
Whenever the pack moves within 10 feet of a creature, you can see, and whenever a creature you can see enters a space within 10 feet of the pack or ends its turn there, you can force the creature to make a dexterity saving throw. Yeah, I've not seen anything that says you can't do that. So you move back and then move back into them and causing the four spirits to slam back into the two firebugs yet again. Yeah.
They would still have to make the dex saving throws again, though.
Correct.
So it's the dex 17. Yeah.
Yeah, both will fail.
All right. Ooh, there it is. See if we can do
That's
better
a
that
very
time.
creative use of that spell. I like that.
Thank you. That's 17 plus 4 is 21 total damage for that time.
Points. Damage. Okay. The bigger one that's currently enlarged is looking rough, and actually looking very rough. That'll finish your turn.
Uh-huh.
Top of the fourth round, Giancarlo is up with Desmond on deck.
All right, the little guy, is that the one that was in the chasm? I left to grab it
Correct.
right and take
He has not used an action to enlarge yet, so that's why he's so small.
That's what I was curious about. Like I said, I missed that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit him with my pepper box. Or attempt
Good
to.
choice, because he hasn't had the benefit of a hit point improvement until he enlarges.
Mm-hmm.
27.
27 will definitely hit with an extra D4 of damage.
Okay. Find all my various things here. Where did you go? Where did you go? $33 points of damage to him.
Nice. He's actually looking a little rough.
All right. I'm going to switch targets to the other. Well, I'm going to stay with him real fast because I can still hit him with a
single
advantage strike.
advantage. Yep.
Yeah, single advantage. I'm going to try tossing one of my hand axe at him just to see if that's enough. Well, God, yes. Unfortunately, I don't want to lose any of my stuff. I wasn't expecting this. Between the two of them, which looks to be in rougher shape?
Hard to tell.
All right. Well, I think big guy is probably the bigger threat. So I'm going to do something very piratey and stupid. I'm going to dive out of my hiding place to physically stick him with my daggers.
Go for it.
That is a 23 to hit.
That'll hit. Go ahead and roll for damage. That's an extra D4 of damage because their AC is an 18. No, their AC is 17. Sorry. No, 18. Because 17 barely misses.
Okay. So, sorry, you threw me off there. What's that? 10. I was counting up the points in my head there. So,
make a dex save too because you jumped into the spirits. I think.
I'll do that in a second. 10. I believe that is 28 points of damage. 10 of it is piercing. The other is poison.
Okay.
Does that
Deck
by any chance get your
DC 17 deck save.
okay? DC 17 deck save.
Yep.
One more. 17 before I had anything, so I'm good. But I did make it.
And it's a save or suck spell too, so
The creature
It's a
will
total of
erupt.
20.
The creature will erupt and explode. So give me a con save if you would, please.
Not great. I think 5.
22 points of fire damage from the exploding firebug.
I'm going to go ahead and burn one of my other ones and do an uncanny dodge because I'm starting to look pretty rough.
Okay. So half that.
So
to
I think
10.
that leaves me with. I'm sorry.
Half that to 10 points of damage.
Okay.
Well, uncanny dodge. Yeah, I'm thinking of evasion. Yeah, uncanny dodge is when you burn the reaction.
You're fine. I think that leaves me with one final point.
One.
Yeah.
One,
I shot little
two-
guy. I dove into big guy.
Yep,
and then
you have
I
one AP
used
left.
all right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I think what they call him. Desmond is still in base with him. So do I still have
Right.
since I've switched targets? Do I still have an advantage on little guy?
If you take a shot, yeah.
That's what I was planning to. So
Okay, go for it.
ooh, okay, that is a 28 to hit.
I'll definitely hit with an extra D4 of damage.
Okay. That is 11 damage to him.
He's looking rough, but he's still on his feet.
All right. That's all my AP. I can't do anything.
Finish your turn. Desmond, you are up with the firebug on deck.
Cool. So to start, I do have the Ring of Regeneration, which every 10 minutes allows me 1d6 hit point return.
Okay,
It
go
wouldn't
for it.
take any action from me, right?
Nope. Just automatic.
Yay. So that's 2. That's going to make a huge difference in my life.
You never know. Sometimes the difference between success and failure is a single point.
True. And I am going to, gonna look at Giancarlo and is like, oh, we stabbing? Okay, I can stab. And then I'm gonna stab him.
Go for it.
That's gonna be 22 to hit.
That will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is rough. That's a 6.
6. Give me a con save as you strike the creature.
That's a 16.
16. Take 7 points of fire damage from striking the creature as the its blood and flame kind of ichor get on your hand and arm.
Gross. I think he's just like trying to kill it. Just like stab.
Still have. Oh, you used. Oh, that's your turn, isn't it? Because.
Yep. 2 AP.
Yeah, because you only had 2 AP from.
Wait, but stabbing was 1 AP, and the ring was automatic, so it wasn't an AP.
Correct. So you have 1 AP left.
Okay, final AP, I will use Mold Earth again to kind of try and get it away from me by turning the floor underneath it into like a slide. Because it's like...
I'll say that'll cause it to slide down the stairs and into base with Giancarlo.
Sorry, John.
Cutthroat today. Cutthroat.
You now have your 4 AP back. That'll finish Desmond's turn. The creature is up. It's going to start its turn.
In law.
That is a 19 plus 2 is a 21. For starting its turn in the middle of the spirits.
Oh, it's when you end the turn. Sorry. I think. Double check it.
I think, no, it's all 3. It's if you move it in with them, if they start their turn or end their turn, I believe.
see it into space.
Or is it
Yeah,
just end your turn?
it's in the turn. Yeah, in
Okay.
your turn. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah. but we can hold it and it passes, so it won't take any damage.
Gotcha. It's going to spend 1 AP to enlarge. It's then going to do a fire attack on Giancarlo. Giancarlo, give me a dex save, if you would, please.
27.
That will succeed. Take half of 28 points of fire damage.
Ooh.
See. 1 AP to enlarge, 1 AP for fire attack. It's got 2 AP left. It's going to spend an AP to disengage and move into base with Micah. Micah, give me a dex save as it's going to fire breath you for its final AP.
All right. Ooh, 7. Ouch.
7. That is going to be 20 points of fire damage.
Yep.
It'll finish its turn. Micah, or wait, give me a 10 or higher for concentration.
Yep, for concentration. That's a nat 1.
So concentration is gone and the spirits are gone.
Yep. But it's my turn.
All right. You are up with Giancarlo on deck at the top of the 5th round.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to. Yeah, let's try the chill touch again. You know, see if maybe this time we'll hit.
Go for it.
No, a 13 again. How many of those have I rolled this
A
game?
lot. I want to say like 5
every
or
damn time
13
I've tried for this
tonight.
attack, I got a +9 to hit, and I've rolled like a 5, 6, or a 7. All right, that's my first. Second AP, I'm gonna do the disengage and scooch and back up like 20 feet or so.
Which allows. Oh no, that's right. You lost concentration.
Yep. And then I'm going to cast. Where are we at? Sorry. Nope. Crap. I lost what I was going to do. Sorry. I'm going to cast. He's probably gonna save that. Never mind. Sorry.
That's a cool mini.
I just put all the horns I could find on him,
Yeah.
and then colored them to look like mushrooms.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good model. Good design.
Hey, tell you what, I'm gonna do mass cure wounds.
Nice.
It's a 60-foot range, so if
So
I
everybody's
put it,
in range.
I would say I mean 60-foot or 30-foot radius.
Yeah,
So
I would say if you
So
plop
if I
it right.
center it about where that guy is, about where
Yeah.
the baddie is.
Yep, it'd get all 3 of you.
Okay. All right. So that's 5d8 plus 5. Let me get these d8
Oh,
back.
that's a good spell.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 d8. All right. 10, 24, 29, 34 HP for everybody.
Oh my goodness.
34, you said?
Yep. And that'll
And
finish
that-
your turn, Mike.
This is my turn. Yep.
Top of the 5th round, Giancarlo, you are up with
All right,
Desmond
well,
on deck.
All right, we are going to start shooting at Last Krabby Boy.
All right, go for it.
What was my best there? That is a 28 to hit.
That'll definitely hit with an extra d4 of damage.
That's a plus 8. 11, 13. 16, 22, 24, 28 damage.
Nice. Go ahead and give me a con save as it explodes in front of you.
15.
15. That is going to be 19 points of fire damage as the last firebug is destroyed.
Whoa!
We
Go
don't
team!
like fire. We don't like fire.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song.
Can I inspect them? Do they look edible? The bugs in this game. I'm a chef. I have to look.
Give me investigation or nature.
All right, let me see which is better.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna recast what the heck was it? Sorry. Detect magic. There it is. Yeah.
Those are 16. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm trying to get an understanding of what that thing was next to there was a big stone thing on that crane, like that the crane was holding. Yeah. I'm just trying to see what's popping, what's showing up, but and focusing on that, what the heck is that?
Okay. So you're casting Detect Magic ritually? Are you doing the ritual cast?
I'll just cast it.
Okay, you just immediately pop it off. Giancarlo is examining the remains of the creature. Desmond, what are you doing?
I'm grabbing some of the more conspicuous magic books that are lying around.
Yeah, some of the material components that you already kind of saw, like little shavings of diamonds and precious gems, and you got to go over to the laboratory table. You just start scoffing things into your pocket, dropping books into your bag without even really looking at them, just dropping them in.
Yeah.
Giancarlo, these creatures do not feel natural to you. Most of their remains are little bits of ember-covered carapace remains that have a kind of strange sulfur smell to them. There's no content. There's no meat. There's nothing of the creature left other than its shell, bits of its shell after it exploded. These don't feel like naturally occurring creatures. And that's when your eye catches the one vat of residuum that had spilt over. You get the feeling that these things were inadvertently made by the magic of the residuum.
I'm gonna gather the others and just kind of mention to them. I do not think these bugs here. They do not feel like things that came about naturally. I think the residuum may have created them in some fashion. I'm a chef of no mean skill, and I can do nothing with this, despite the smell in here.
No way, Desmond says while just throwing stuff into his bag.
Would you keep our hand while you are stealing things from this facility?
Stealing is always more fun together.
It is. It is. Would you? Do you have any history or interest in piracy? I'm in a bit of a quest right now. I cannot offer long-term employment, but I am a rather distinguished piratical captain. I was in my youth, you understand. Old habits die hard.
And he's kind of chatting you up, he's just throwing shit into his bag. He's just scooping off he's got his backpack open. He just brings his arm and goes, scoops everything into the backpack, a la bank robber style. Myconith, as you focus on the crane, the stone that you saw on the counterpoint of the crane was an enchantment stone designed to infuse magic into the crane. You get the feeling that you would take a spell, dump it into the stone, and that was what would cause the crane to operate. The crane is made up of material that's highly resistant to fire. You get the feeling that maybe they would use this crane as a way to retrieve samples of lava or to send things down into the lava. It feels like it's part of their arcane lab. There are 3 remaining vats of processed residuum that already contains the enchantment that the gnomes would have put into the residuum. The residuum definitely gives off a magical awareness through your detect magic. There, you watch as Desmond grabs a book that's showing detect magic awareness on it. You watch as Giancarlo is pulling a few scrolls into his bag that show that they, there's detect magic on them. The edge of the magma pit has some kind of glyph of warding or some kind of protection spell strung around it. There are minor trinkets and other things that show either charms or minor enchantments. There's a series of weapons that look partially fashioned and ready to be enchanted, but no real sign of enchantment yet. This place has a very distinct vibe of it being an arcane laboratory.
We think you should take those items over there. I point to like the trinkets that were lighting up, and then I'm gonna. So these vats of residuum, how big are they? Are they like a vat? Or are we talking just like a little molting cup kind of thing?
A little bit smaller, like maybe the size of a keg, So, and there's only a little bit of, like, you get the feeling these vats are what keep the residuums stable, because they also show up in your detect magic. They have a form of gentle repose on the vats that have allowed the residuum to remain stable even after all these 10 years since they were made and processed. You get the feeling the vats each would weigh roughly 50 pounds. They're kind of bulky. Wouldn't be easy. I mean, you could carry them, but it would be rough.
Okay. I will expend my other wild shape to summon a wild companion.
Okay.
Just like a beast, it says I can summon a fey beast, so I'll summon like a imagine like a bullet, but not. It's just like more of a cow.
Gotcha,
if a bullet was a cow, right?
We'll say you summon like a fey herd, and you watch as this big, like 8 foot long and 3.5, 4 foot tall, kind of herd-like fey animal shows up. It's got brightly colored fur of patches of green, yellow, and blue. Has a strange kind of bovine face and head with a bit of a kind of like a docile-looking, domesticated look to it. It kind of settles down and patiently waiting for guidance.
Hello, friend. We will be carrying these, and I'll start druid crafting the vines to get these like strung across its back.
As Giancarlo and Desmond manage to pilfer everything they can find, you finish lashing the 3 vats onto the back of the creature. What would you like to do next?
Is there anything on the end of the crane? Like, we saw the crane had the thing at the back. Was it holding anything?
It seemed to be holding some kind of cage-like contraption.
Pink one, what is in the cage? We cannot see it.
Giancarlo is the only one that's pink.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misheard that part. I thought you said something not pink.
Oh, I said pink one. What's in the cage?
Okay. Sorry, I missed the pink part, so I was not paying attention to that. So okay.
I do not know, but for future reference, my name is Giancarlo Flamand. As you were informed when you booked passage, this is mildly disconcerting. But I will check with you. How is this?
So I'll fly over. I'll take a look.
Yeah, you fly up to the top of the crane. The cage is empty. Nothing seems to be in it. but the metal that it's made out of looks very intriguing. The cage is maybe 2 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot. The metal looks like it suffered no signs of any kind of burn damage whatsoever. You get the feeling that the cage itself is immune to the flame effect of the magma pit. You get the feeling that they were probably placing something in the cage, using the enchantments and other activities in the arcane laboratory, and then dropping the cage into the magma pit down below.
There's no sign of what was in here. It is empty now. Whatever metal it is made of, it is quite resistant. I believe they were using it to do experiment subjects into the magma. I don't know. This is beyond my expertise. Would you like to see Monsieur Macan?
No, thank you. We have what we were here for.
True. So maybe we vamoose away far, never to look back.
We don't think that's the name of our beast, but yes, we may leave.
You guys journey back up the stairwell, back out through.
As we step out of the room, or as my Canth is going to be the last one out of the building, and I'll turn around and I'm going to cast Dispel Magic on. Do I feel like the magma ring or the crane? Which one is going to be more effective, or do I need to roll for that?
Give me an Arcana check as you try to figure out which makes sense.
Okay. Not my strength. An 8.
An 8?
I have a plus.
It's hard
0.
to tell. You get the feeling that the crane itself only becomes magical when you drop enchantment into the stone. The cage is definitely magical by itself.
Not the cage, the ring around the lip of the magma.
Oh, the ring around the lip of the magma pit?
Because that was like some kind of containment glyph, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm going to think, probably wrongly, that is going to be the best way to sink this room, to blow up the lab, what's left there. So I'm going to cast Dispel Magic on the glyph around the lip of that.
As you dispel the glyph around the pit, you feel a sudden drop in air pressure. Like there was a compression of air pressure placed around the pit. You suddenly watch as a fountain of the magma suddenly starts coming up and begins to fill the interior of the structure as you and the others come out and on to the top of the structure itself. This is when you realize you're now filling up the building with magma, but originally you guys flew down here from the overlook up above. So now you got to cross the crusty kind of lava field of the caldera to get back up to where the main exit would be.
Perhaps we made a mistake.
Your feet are already feeling the warmth of the stone and the lava rising on the interior of the building.
We
should move faster.
I'm gonna start running, but how far is the walkway that we didn't go through?
It's about 300 feet long, so it's kind of like a jagged path through the debris of the caldera to get up the side of the caldera and up onto the overwatch or the overhang that you guys originally arrived on, looking down into the caldera.
Okay, so I can use mold earth within 30 feet and only twice in a row. So I'll try to reserve that to the locations that feel the most unstable.
Okay. Anybody else have a skill they want to use to make the escape?
Monsieur Mikan, can you cast the gaseous form on Monsieur Desmond? I could simply carry you out of this place as I did
If
before.
you cast Cassius form on Desmond, he will not be able to cast spells.
Yeah, it's only because we have the bovine herd.
We have the fey creature carrying the actual stuff we were sent down there to get.
Yeah, so I would like to be around
And
to try.
they're 50 pounds a pop, and I don't think I can carry that at 3-4 feet tall.
Yeah, I'll try to just help the bovines move safely and cast mold earth twice to kind of like.
Well, I'll use Thunder Wave as well, like to just like pushing the whatever magma away as we get close to. If we get like spots where we like, if I need to push it off out of the way, it gives us a minute to cross over. Like,
yeah. Can I just fly up and kind of point out where anything that looks like it's thicker or it's a cooler patch to go across, just to kind of help them out?
As a combined effort, you guys realize it's going to take some skill to do this. Desmond takes a hold of the muzzle of the fey creature and begins to guide it down into the different pathways of the caldera. Meanwhile, Giancarlo is pointing out for you, Desmond, where to go, where to, which paths look safer than the other. A sudden fountain of magma explodes up. You watch as Myconith thunder waves it, causing the magma to kind of like be shot away. And it's a quick, intense kind of escape up the side of the caldera. And eventually you find the right walkway up to the overlook of the overhang. And you guys are now in the main tunnel, making that long march through the tunnel. And eventually you get to the mine pit with the bucket, where the bucket is hanging there. And it's a 500-foot egress out of the pit. The bucket is big enough to hold 3 normal-sized people.
Will it hold 1 bovine? 1 fey thing with its stuff?
Yeah, you guys can put it on there, and its little limbs are like hanging off the edge of the bucket when you kind of like force it onto it, and it's like the bucket is like spinning around.
Giancarlo,
go ahead.
If you could please take care of the creature, and I'm gonna touch Desmond and turn him into gas again.
Not again.
Yeah, you watch as Desmond begins to float up towards the surface. You trigger the bucket. Giancarlo could actually carry you up if he wanted to, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you're carrying Myconith and the gaseous form is floating, the bucket with the bovine creature is like spinning slowly, and it's like it's like letting out a noise as it's slowly lifting. As you guys get near the top and the bucket settles, there's an orange glow from below. You begin to realize that the tunnels and that you had traveled through are filled up with magma, and the bottom of this pit is beginning to fill up with magma as well. You guys get to the top, you swing the bucket over, you unload the bovine creature, and you start making that long journey through the mine tunnel out towards the exit. Where once you get outside, yep, go ahead.
I was just going to see him. Could you perhaps ship us some kind of speedier transport? I would not wish to be caught in the air when the magma it catches up with us. I am not a goose, but I feel I have been slightly cooked already.
Nice Crusoe accent at the end. I love that. Oh, bon.
My apologies. This is the best I could do to carry our things. I won't be able to do this again until we rest. But I am able to call our friend. And I'll use... Where'd it go?
Who's that? Hey, Radar.
What's it called?
Hey, baby.
Sorry.
Babe.
Thought that was the spell. Not commune with nature. Sorry, I gotta figure out which spell I'm looking for. Locate plants or animals.
Come here, big girl.
But it's not. Never mind. It's not a. He's not an animal. He's a humanoid. this is specifically not humanoids. So never
Yeah.
mind. I was gonna cast locate plants or animals.
You
just
thought
to
a
get 'em.
mouse folk was an animal?
No, I was thinking locate plants or animals. Like, yeah, we're all animals here, right? but yeah, because that would give me a 5-mile radius. That would have been good. Nope, that doesn't have range enough.
Currently, the bovine creature is following the gaseous form of Desmond through the mine shaft and up back towards the entrance of the mine where the 2 lizard folk scouts would be waiting.
Yeah, I imagine I'm sitting on the back of that thing too. Just riding on this, but like not properly riding, but just I'm not. It's large. I'm not.
So I did just want to make sure, is the image I should have in my head like a person with a brain slug on them from Futurama?
Kind of.
Okay. Just that vibe.
More like less creepy zombies from Last of Us.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you're
That
like
was the
a
vibe I
fungal
was
guy.
getting for
Yeah.
for Mike and it.
Because he's still
I
aware.
know-
There's some awareness in there somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
As you guys exit the mine tunnels and you're back out in front of the main entrance, 2 lizard folk are there. You begin to realize that the tremors in the ground are more frequent, as you begin to realize that the caldera has been compromised and the volcano is in risk of erupting yet again. The lizard folk scouts hustle you out of the region as quickly as possible, out of the area, and although there's no real sense of danger now, by the time you guys reach
Matron?
by the time you reach a part of the jungle, because it took you 2 days to get through the jungle, but as you're starting that next part of your journey to get through the jungle and back towards Gnomeworks, like halfway through your return journey, you hear a very faint explosion, and the horizon off in the distance kind of lights up a bit at night during your long rest, which everyone could go ahead and trigger a long rest. You get the feeling that the volcano is erupting, but it's far enough away now that it's not an immediate threat. By the time you meet up with Matron, he's got an airship secured, but it's a strange looking airship. While most airships have a kind of like a silhouette of its ship form, it's a big air balloon with a kind of canopy hanging from it, and you can see this gnome is waiting on a platform. It's tethered to the platform, and this gnome is holding a giant bottle of booze. It's got like a bag of snacks on her belt, and she sees the 3 of you coming towards her with Matron kind of leading the way. And she goes, "All right, Puck, I told you they could do it. They're good hacks at this. They got the residuum and everything, but quite a lot of it. It's going to take some time to get it loaded up on your balloon here. But they did it. You got the coin for them." Puck kind of comes over. She's a little bit buzzed. She reaches into a pouch on her belt, and I don't really carry coin anymore, but here, you can have these. And she places in each of your hands 3 fist-sized emeralds that are like really like very well cut, very well done. And she just kind of watches the Matron brings the bovine creature over to offload the residuum into the air balloon. She goes, "Well, I gotta go. I'm meeting with
Please,
some
Puck.
friends."
My jewel of the jungle. Have I proven myself?
Des? Are you coming with me, Des? You want to come back?
Gonna look over at Giancarlo. Okay, he did kind of offer me a job, Sweetums. But what is a job in the face of love? And then he's like, gives Giancarlo his phone number. Or
My reputation precedes me.
Giancarlo and Mike and Eth kind of just watch as the air balloon is lifting up and away with Desmond kind of waving to Giancarlo. And then, oh God, boy, brain fart. And then Matron looks over at Giancarlo. Found an artificer to do the work for you. Come on, let's go see how he did. And with that, the three of you descend down the platform, heading back towards the docks as you watch the air balloon drift off. And that's where we'll finish part 2 of the Wayward Puck adventures.
You got 3 vets of residuum. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
But you guys just want to take this stuff.
So
I'll keep us on
you guys
task.
good for next week, because I believe we have Alexa and Ryan back, right? It's Ryan,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
No, they were supposed to be back today.
No,
Well, yeah,
it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're 2 weeks,
they-
I thought.
So are they coming back? Are they supposed to be back the 11th?
I think you said they're supposed to get back Saturday.
Okay.
If
I'll
I
have to
remember.
dig
If
in
I
again.
recall.
I thought they were leaving. They were going to be gone for 10 days. They were leaving from the wedding.
Yep.
And then they were supposedly, because the wedding was what day?
Saturday.
The wedding was
They
on
left
the 26th,
Sunday. Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
So 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're due back. So is everybody else okay for the 11th?
Oh, I'll be here.
I'm fine. For clarity, are we doing our level 10 guys again, or are we doing our level 20s?
Well, if we I'll find out in Discord if we have Ryan and Alexa back. If we have them back, we'll be doing the main campaign. But do plan on we will be off June 1st because I will be out of town that Sunday. So we will be off June 1st. So keep that day in mind. Oh, you guys go ahead and linger. Everyone else, sorry, I forgot we were online. Thanks for coming out and watching us. Sorry about that. You guys go ahead and linger. We'll see y'all next week. Be safe, be kind, and don't forget, play a game, everybody. Good night.